Okay, sluggish behavior this morning. I wonder if the internet is having a bad day. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get together every morning live here on Facebook, where we talk about all kinds of things going on around the world, near and far, headlines, stories, comments, suggestions, ideas that come together to help us have a better, more wonderful, more inspiring, more productive life as an English-speaking community here in Puerto Vallarta. My name is Paco Ojeda. For those of you that don't know me, and maybe you're new to these broadcasts, we get together every morning and just share information with one another. If you are new to the broadcasts, we would love to give you a proper welcome. So please write the word "new" in your comments, and that way we'll be able to give you a proper welcome. As every morning, it is always wonderful to see faces that are familiar, faces that join us on a regular basis, and it's great to welcome new people. I want to tell you, for starters, I don't know how you dealt with yesterday. Yesterday was such a hot day, hot yesterday. I had not left my house for a few days. Fortunately, I was able to stay home and work from home. But yesterday, I decided it was going to be my errand day. And boy, was it schwitzy. It was one of those days in which, you want to have the ceiling fan travel along with you wherever you go. This is our Luis Miguel ceiling fan. We're going to repurpose it to talk about the weather. So yesterday I found myself, going from one place to another and just having a hard time dealing with the face mask and the temperature. But great things happened yesterday, and I want to tell you a little bit about them, if I may. Yesterday, I had a chance to visit this wonderful new project, Hotel Cuales. This is happening on Insurgentes Street, right next to the Isla Rio Cuale. And the place is still under construction. It's going to be a beautiful, basic hotel with 28 or 27 rooms. It is also going to have a restaurant courtesy of Bonito Kitchen. Bonito Kitchen is going to have a restaurant there, a cafe. The venue will also have what they're calling it a speakeasy, and it's going to be a place where there's going to be drinking and conversation and so forth and so on. And there's going to be a co-work space as well, where people are going to be able to have meetings and enjoy doing computer work and whatnot. So it promises to be a really exciting new place for the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. Um, can you see me? This is it's really weird because my computer is acting up, and I'm just hoping that you are actually being able to see the broadcast, because for some reason things are not moving here the way they're supposed to move. And I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the broadcast. Let me stop for a second and improvise, because I just want to make sure that you're able to see this. I'm not seeing your comments rolling, and I want to make sure that we have a good broadcast today. Sometimes it works against me that we're not able to do this as flawlessly as I'd like us to do. So while I see my computer acting up, I'm going to very quickly try to invoke the broadcast on my iPad, just to make sure that we are all enjoying ourselves. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bim, bam, bam. And then I'll continue with what I'm telling you. Oh, according to my iPad, we are broadcasting fine. Let me take a quick look. Oh yeah, you're seeing me fine. Oh, excellent. Okay, never mind. Let me just close that then, and I will hope that things will get more normal as we go forward. Anyhow, as I was telling you, I'm sorry about that. I was really, really amazed at the construction progress that is going on in this particular location. And of course, it was really interesting as well to take a look at a historic building, a building that has been there for a long time. Um, the building is owned by the Mesa family, the same family that have Lance, the department store. And this particular building held what used to be known as La Surtidora del Puente, which was their original department store. Lance stands for La Nueva Surtidora, or the new Surtidora, and that's why the store is called as such. Anyhow, these projects are under construction now, but we can expect really wonderful stuff happening there in the months to come. Definitely by November, December, all kinds of fun things. And then yesterday, I continued my journey, and I was headed to Hotel Mercurio for some business. But on the way there, I stopped at Apache's, where I drank my very first ever guava margarita. I had never had a guava margarita before, and it was absolutely delicious. And while I was sitting at Apache's, a couple of wonderful things happened. Number one, a couple of people stopped by to say hello and to thank me for the project. And it was really wonderful to connect some faces with people that watch regularly. And that means so much to me. You know, when I'm walking down the street and I see people that thank me for what we're doing here, and it's really wonderful. But then there was this great thing that happened, which is that this kid who seemed to be familiar with Geoff and Ricardo, who own Apaches, or vice versa. They knew who this kid was walking around selling pastries and croissants and things like that. And I figured, well, I'm sitting here, we might as well support this, and so forth and so on. The kid was really kind, very, very amable, as we say in Spanish, and he spoke in both English and Spanish. And then at some point, I asked him, "Oh, these look great. What bakery do you represent?" And he just got close to me and he hushed. "These come from Costco, but I'm paying for my school tuition." And that comment just totally, totally made my day, because, you know, here was this teenage kid trying to have a better life, trying to raise some money for himself. And, you know, of course, I didn't care that the pastries came from Costco. It was such a pleasure to support him. And that was, part of my day yesterday. Again, it was really, really warm, and that part of the fact that I woke up this morning, and one of the first headlines that I ran into this morning, I am so compelled to share it with you because it had to do with this woman. This has nothing to do with Mexico, nothing to do with coffee and headlines, but this Russian woman apparently decided to that she was waiting in the plane, and the plane was so hot that she opened an emergency exit and decided to just prance up and down the wheels. And she was captured on video doing this, and of course, she was punished, and she was criticized because she had children waiting for her inside in the plane. And of course, the kids must have gone, whoa, I mean, what is mom up to? Anyhow, that was something that just made me laugh this morning. And the last thing I want to show you before we dive into the news is my first impression this morning. I woke up and I looked out the window, and this is what I saw. Sunsets are overrated in Puerto Vallarta. Sunrises are underrated. This is the view from my bedroom window. And this is what it looked like. I took the photo with my phone, and I did not retouch it in any way, shape, or form. So this is how I started my day today. And I consider myself very fortunate to have looked at that view out the window. And I hope your day started as wonderfully as mine did. I want to let you know that apparently the software that I used to create the broadcasts is acting a little wonky, so I may not be able to get to your comments today because, again, I'm seeing that the software is not particularly happy, and your comments are not scrolling as fast as I'd like them to be, so I may not be able to acknowledge you today, but I'm going to continue with the broadcast, hoping that whatever is wrong with the computer will simply go away, and take it from there. So let me take us to the news. See, I cannot even take us to the news. This is so weird. I cannot be sure that you can see me or hear me, but I certainly hope you can. And that's the way it goes. Let me see if I can invoke my headlines. I don't think I can invoke my headlines, but I can tell you what they are because I can actually take a look at them. You may not be able to see the headlines that I usually show you, but I'm just going to continue telling you what they are. One of the first things I want to tell you is that here in Puerto Vallarta, a budget has been approved to fix some streets around the city. And when I say fix streets around the city, I mean paving the city. And this is good news and interesting news because it brings up a very interesting debate that we don't necessarily access. And this is when we're talking about paving streets in Puerto Vallarta, are we talking about covering them with cobblestone or modernizing them to be modern streets as we find in larger cities? Needless to say, there is a debate. There are those people that want to continue having these cobblestone streets because this has to do with the way our city has this pueblo feel. And then there are people that say, well, wait a second, Puerto Vallarta is a much larger city now, and we should be able to have paved streets. But the good thing is that a fair amount of budget, I wish I could give you the exact notes, but I don't have to my computer. Oh my God, we're going to have a crazy Saturday today. Anyhow, streets are going to be repaved in Puerto Vallarta in the near future, and this is all good. There's another headline that I want to share with you, and this has to do with the fact that 100 flights per week are expected to land in Puerto Vallarta during the month of September, connecting us with 17 cities in Mexico and the United States, and again, starting in October, also Canada. So we can see that there is an increased number and there's more and more activity. Something else that caught my attention yesterday afternoon is that Puerto Vallarta Airport is beginning to provide rapid testing for passengers about to board. This is something that we'd mentioned a couple of times before and had to do with actual airlines, but apparently it is also the airport itself that will start providing rapid tests for passengers as they're about to board their plane. I don't know exactly what the logistic of that would be like, but this is what is going on. Um, I can also tell you that we have been talking about the reactivation of all these sport facilities that are public. This will actually happen starting on Monday here in Puerto Vallarta. Perhaps it started earlier elsewhere in the state. But here in Puerto Vallarta, it starts on Monday. It's going to start with a 30% occupation in public soccer fields and parks where you can go and exercise and stuff like that. Of course, if there are any soccer games, there will not be the possibility of having people attend. So this is just going to be folks that want to do exercise. Um, I can also tell you that, oh, I think things are moving a little bit better now. Is it possible that I can actually show you my headlines? Let's give it a go. Yes, we can. Oh my goodness, things are becoming normal. Maybe my computer was just having an undecided moment. Yesterday, I told you about how the sale of all these Mexican independence products is falling apart. We got another article that has to do with the fact that this is also happening in the city of Guadalajara. The city of Guadalajara reports that sales are down by 60% on these kinds of products, which is lamentable because, again, this is an important part of our independence tradition. And of course, it is also an important part of the livelihood of people that produce these products for consumption. I just think I might be able to take a look at my comments now. Yay! And actually see what you guys have been sharing while we're here. Thank you very much for all these confirmations that you can see me. This is wonderful. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Julie. I forgot to mention that. Of course, Ryan Donner's real estate offices are also going to be located at this new building that I was discussing earlier. I was so tempted to take some photographs of the construction process, and I didn't because honestly, it was a short visit, and of course, it was the first time that I had been there. But I had a nice conversation with Eric Robb, who is running that project, and I said to him, I hope you're going to be capturing some photographs of all the process so that then you can have great before and after images. I very much appreciated the fact that the folks that are behind this project are very keen on preserving the structure of the building as much as possible. And the floors which are historic, they've been there since the building was constructed, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful project. Question, does the new hotel at Rio Quale and Insurgentes have a name? Yes, it's called Quales Hotel. And that name Quales is also going to be reflected on some of the other ventures that are going on in there. Let's see. Tapia asks, cheaper building or buying property? That's a broad question. It's difficult to answer. But in this particular case, the building is historic. It's been there for a long time. So I suspect it was easier to rescue it. That said, I can think of at least half a dozen buildings that for whatever reason throughout Puerto Vallarta have been stopped during construction. And it is possible that the infrastructure in these construction buildings that was paused might be too deteriorated to rescue. The building that is in front of Lázaro Cárdenas Park comes to mind. It's a building that has been there for, oh, well over a decade. And at this point, I don't even know that it can continue to be built upon. Um, so I think it's a case by case basis. Good morning, Michael. I read your post saying that you're about to open the new Siam restaurant. If I recall correctly, the 9th of September will be the first day. We'll try to be there with bells on, and if not, then shortly thereafter, so we can share what the new restaurant looks like. Um, let's see. Thank you for your comments on the sunrise. I appreciate it. Paul, do me a favor, please, because I was trying to get to that interesting article that you shared with me about travel shaming. If you'd be kind enough to share it in the chat, that would be great, because then I can talk about it. If not, I will talk about it on Monday. But I really appreciate the article that you sent me. The article had to do with how, because of our anxiety about the pandemic, some people that have been traveling feel that they've been shamed by what they've been posted. And of course, there are two sides to that, or more, at least two sides to that. There's a whole side of is it okay to travel or not? Is it okay to publish what we see or not? Why do we react the way we react when people post images that are troubling? Just this morning, somebody sent me some troubling images and video of one of the local bars, which was, let's just say there was no social distance there, and it was very crowded, and on the one hand, you don't want to chastise anybody for doing what they do, but on the other hand, Jesus, it's like, guidelines, please, guidelines. Anyhow, let's see. Paul says no cobblestones, and you see, that's the thing. That is an interesting debate. Cobblestones are very traditional, but there are parts in the city in which it makes better sense to just start building streets, for crying out loud. Anyhow, I think I've gotten all caught up with your comments and the software, and everything seems to be working fine. So let us dive into the weather report. Here we are. Boom. It is warm today. It's 29 degrees Celsius, feels like 33. That would be 83 degrees Fahrenheit. There's only a 1% chance of rain at this moment, and humidity is low, 76%. Low. Well, compared to when we have humidity in the 90s, it is definitely a low humidity day for summer standards here in Puerto Vallarta. The weather forecast tells us that today we're going to have rain starting again in the evening, and then tomorrow, Sunday, it's going to be rain and humid. And then on Monday, we'll have rain until morning and starting again in the evening. So we're going to have more rain return to us, and that makes sense, because what I want to show you now is this flooding advisory that is being distributed by the National Center for Hurricane Warning. And this would be, of course, the state of Jalisco, there's the state of Colima, there's Michoacan, and there's Guerrero south of us. And right now, there is some risk of flooding in the southern part of our state. Needless to say, these systems move upward, so we can anticipate that this system will continue to travel north to where we are, which is up here. There you go. Dear Mom, you never knew that your son would turn out to become a weatherman. Who knew? So we are going to have rain towards the beginning of the week. Hopefully the weather will not get really crazy, and hopefully we will be able to enjoy the rain without it causing too much trouble for us and for communities that are not well protected for it. I have a couple of interesting things that I found on Vox. Yesterday, we have been talking about movies and new shows and new this and that and the other. And Vox published a couple of interesting pieces yesterday. One was on their website having to do with This being the most important movie weekend of the year, and how things are opening and where things are opening. And, it's usually earlier in the summer that we see the big blockbusters come out. But this time around, of course, the summer sort of has come and gone, and all the big blockbusters have not yet opened because big blockbusters are expensive to make, and if they don't make the box office earnings that the producers would expect them to make, then it's difficult to have some profit on them. And the second piece that I found also came from Vox, their wonderful daily podcast Today Explained. Yesterday was called The Movies Are Back. And again, this is further exploration of what is going on with the movie industry and whether the blockbuster will continue to exist as we know it. Are movie studios going to increase attention to the big grossing movies? And by that, are some of the most precious independent films going to not even be released? And the part that gave me some pause about this very interesting podcast that I'm going to share with the show notes is the fact that something similar can possibly happen with music. And we looked at that duet between Celine Dion and Luis Miguel that is probably going to make the record label some money. But is it the most redeeming, fulfilling music project that can or should be released on albums? Probably not. And unfortunately, that is something that is probably going to be part of the near future as far as what kind of cinema releases and theater and music we can expect. A lot of commercial, sure to profit projects, and perhaps more of the adventurous projects will have to be shelved for a few months or maybe a few years. I don't know. But these were interesting reports. I totally suggest that you take a look at them. And Paul has just shared this wonderful article here that, again, I was talking about earlier, and it has to do with travel shaming during the pandemic. And again, I'm going to add this to the notes for today. Thank you very much. Oh, Carl Timothy, what a nice surprise. Good morning. It's great to see you. It's great to see you. I hope things are going good for you and your projects. We also have a question here by Linda. Where is the new Siam located? The new Siam is located just next door to the current Bonito Kitchen, which is within walking distance to Costco and La Comer on Los Tules Avenue. And Kathleen answered that for me. Thank you very much. It's in Gaviotas near Fluvial. Absolutely. So we will have a good time checking this out once it opens. Joe asks, wouldn't cobblestones allow for better rain runoff? I'm not a cobblestone expert. The way cobblestones are done down here, they get very easily eroded and destructed by the rain. So, it is what it is. Anyhow, this is pretty much what I have put together for you. Oh, no. What am I talking about? The last piece of news, which is absolutely wonderful. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to expand on this in the near future. I talked to my dear friend Nina Goodhope about getting together and talking about the fact that Mexican wines did very well in the Global Wine 2020 competition. This is an international wine competition, and Mexican wines earned over 40 medals in this particular competition. And this article that I'm going to share with you is in Spanish, but the list of winner wines is located here. For example, there are 2 wines from Casa Madero that got a gold medal. The Gran Ricardo from Montechanic, that is a wine I know. It is absolutely delicious. And it got the gold medal. Gran Ricardo is just extraordinary. And then there are some silver medals for these other wines. And so if you are a wine drinker and haven't discovered the wonderful pleasures of drinking Mexican wine, this is an article for you. And again, I got in touch with my friend Nina, and hopefully we'll get together someday in the near future and record a little something so that we can learn more about how to explore the wonderful world of Mexican wines. And that's now, this is what I have for you. And this, we've reached the end of today. Tomorrow is Sunday. And as you know, or maybe if you're new, you don't know this, but Sunday is no news day. Sundays, we simply carry on in the silliest way possible. No one is safe, nothing is sacred. And tomorrow we are going to have some fun, as in every other Sunday. One of the things that we're going to talk about is tacos, and how tacos have been appropriated. Um, well, I don't want to spell. I don't want to spoil it, but we're going to definitely have a great show tomorrow. Patricia sneaks in a last minute question: what is the best place to taste the wines of Mexico? Well, I've had really good luck at wine tastings that are organized by a couple of the wine purveyors in town, particularly Nina Goodhope. Nina has closed down her store and she's waiting for the fall to reopen elsewhere. And and of course, you know, Mexican restaurants. I would also think that you can get a good experience with Mexican wines at Divino Dante, which is a wonderful wine and tapas bar on Basilio Vadillo Street. Um, I haven't I don't recall having a specific Mexican wine experience there, but knowing the care with which wines are curated and cocktails are curated at this particular venue, I can guarantee that you would have a good experience. Um, and again, just about any restaurant that specializes in Mexican food or any high end restaurant would probably give you a good experience. Um, so now we've reached the end. Now we've really reached the end. I hope I'll see you tomorrow for Sunday Fun Day. And if not, I will definitely hope to see you on Monday. Uh, Between now and then, please try to stay safe, try to stay kind, stay happy, stay in touch, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.